Welkom by nog 'n uitgawe van Freedom to Trade. My naam is Hendrik Kreer. Ek is die woordvoerder van kleinsakeontwikkeling in die parlement vir die DA. En die alkoholbedryf bestaan hoofsaaklik uit kleinsakeondernemings. En as gevolg van die president se aankondiging 2 Sondae gelede, is meeste van hierdie ondernemings gewond. Sommige het selfs 'n kopskoot gekry. En baie entrepreneurs in hierdie sektor sukkel om kop bo water te hou en staar onkeerbare verliese in die gesig. Saam met my is Macpherson, woordvoerder van die Departement Handel en Nywerheid in die parlement vir die DA, 'n kollega en vriend van my. En hy gaan vandag gesels oor die skade wat hierdie aankondiging van president Cyril Ramaphosa aan die alkoholbedryf gemaak het. En ek sal ook graag by hom wil hoor wat is sy opinie oor hoekom die president hierdie aankondiging gemaak het. Dean, baie welkom en oor na jou.
Thank you, Henry, and thanks for having me. I think what we saw the Sunday before last was the president reacting to immense pressure within his own cabinet and within the National Corona Command Council to ban alcohol as really a scapegoat and a red herring for the immense failure to build bed capacity across the country in 8 of the 9 provinces for not having the ability to treat the influx of patients from coronavirus. And really, you know, to use alcohol as a scapegoat for his own government's failure to build those beds at the costs of thousands and tens of thousands of businesses across the country that trade in alcohol, whether it be bottle stores or restaurants, is really unacceptable. And I think speaks to the immense failure that we've seen from the president during this crisis and his just inability to lead. And so he had no feelings whatsoever to sacrifice any of those businesses at the altar of political expediency within the ANC. And that's really, Henry, the crux of the matter is that what we have is we have a president who puts the interests of the ANC and his own political interests ahead of the interests of the country. Now, we are all very well versed in the damage that alcohol does in society and the trauma that it does cause in many suburbs across the country. But that also has to be weighed up against the economic income and the jobs that industry provides. And so in the Western Cape, what the Western Cape did very well from the outset was they knew that they had to build capacity, that they had to increase their bed numbers in the province, and they used a lockdown to do that, which is why the Premier was able to say that while alcohol does cause damage and it does take up hospital beds, it has not done so at the expense of providing hospital care and beds for coronavirus patients. And that really has been the big difference. So what has it led to? Well, it's led to a prohibition of alcohol now, which does not mean that alcohol trade stops. All that it means is that it takes place in an unregulated environment, which is in fact more damaging to members of society because there is no regulation and there is no safety net or control in the way in which alcohol is sold. It also rapidly increases the prices of alcohol, which is detrimental to poorer working communities that buy alcohol. That is just a fact. Of course, we are now seeing an utter bloodbath in the restaurant trade, which obviously sells alcohol and which has been always a big source of income for restaurants. And that really has been incredibly distressing to people like myself, and I know you and many people within the party, is just to see how the restaurant industry is crumbling. What I have also learned is that the president just failed to consult with a single person in the alcohol industry before the ban was announced, which means it came completely out of the blue. Now, contrast that to the way that the president dealt with the taxi association, which he capitulated to and allowed them to fill their taxis up to 100%. He had, by all accounts, a number of meetings with taxi owners, operators, and associations. And we know why, because the taxi industry is a big constituency of the ANC and holds immense political power through Santako within the ANC and its alliance partners. So I think that the president really has handled himself, really badly. As I said earlier, I think that he has sacrificed an entire industry to keep those in his cabinet and in the NCCC happy. And at the end of the day, ordinary, good, hardworking people will pay for that spinelessness that we've seen in the president.
Baie dankie Dean. Ja, natuurlijk. Die klein sake ondernemings gaan geweldig onder 'n druk van hierdie COVID-19 en ek dink die aankondiging van die president het dit nou net vermeerder. Baie dankie vir jou tyd.